welcome back to another episode of Pick Up the Phone podcast with me, your girl, your host, Diamond Denise. This is a podcast where we may cry, we may laugh, but you know what we always do? We lean on God's strength to keep on going. I'm so excited to be recording episode number 3. We in here. We are super excited to record another episode. And y'all, I'm so excited to get into what we're going to talk about today. Let me do my recap for the week. How have I been? What's been going on? What's new? What's old? I feel like I'm just really excited. I'm really looking forward to another season. I'm really looking forward to just like another episode. Y'all, actually, next week we will begin recording or actually really going live. So that's super exciting. So next Tuesday, today's like October 30th, but next Tuesday, you guys will actually start to see these episodes that we've been recording. And that's exciting because I really cannot wait to just engage with you all. This weekend, also, I am planning, me and my friend, we are planning a getaway. So I'm also really looking forward to that as well. It's something that we've been really excited about doing. We've been trying to do it for a long time, y'all. A long time. And really because sometimes it's hard for me to just talk about everything. I don't like to say too much, but I do like to try to be honest with y'all and transparent. But you know, honestly, your girl just kind of been going through a little bit of stuff, right? And you'll never really know unless I actually had a conversation and told you because I'm kind of the person that normally when I go through stuff, I just go through it. I never really look like what I'm going through. You will never know how I'm like feeling in that sense. I do have friends though. I do have people that I'm able to talk to when I'm feeling a certain kind of way. So me and my friend, this is something that we've been wanting to do for a very, very long time. And I'm just grateful that we finally were just able to get it locked in and do it. So it's gonna be so good. I'm so excited to do it, y'all. One thing I realized too is that, you know, sometimes you can get so busy just choosing and doing and scheduling everything else for everybody else. And then you realize you don't schedule nothing for yourself. You plan yourself around everything else that's going on. And that's just something that I really don't want to continue to do or do. So we're here. This is my first step. We're gonna kind of get into a little bit of the conversation today too. But yeah, that's really it. We are super excited to just have a little hard reset. Because sometimes you need it. And sometimes it's really hard to like admit when you need that type of stuff. But I'm okay with just saying, like, you know what, everybody and all the time, sometimes you're just not okay. And that's okay. Like, it's okay to not be okay, but you have to not continue to live in the okay. Right. Um, I think sometimes when you do that, you can begin to see things a little bit foggy and I just want to always have a clear space. And when I realize that I'm feeling a little something, I'm like, okay, it's time for me to step away. It's time for me to reset. It's time for me to reevaluate. And that's human. It's okay. I know a lot of times people may not always admit that, but I feel like it's something that a lot of people go through. We all experience it. So, y'all have to be okay with just knowing and recognizing you're not okay and when you need to have that hard reset, right? Which takes us into our topic today. Y'all, this episode is called You Are in Surrender. So, when I looked up the word surrender, the word surrender means to give up control and accept what is. Now, I've had to do this in many situations in my life and really a lot lately. But it really means that I trust someone or I accept the decision of another over my own. Sometimes that require means plans, sometimes that means advice, sometimes that means what God may be wanting you to experience or do in that season. Surrender means not my will, but your will be done, basically, right? I let it go, I surrender it. And if we're being honest, I feel like there's areas that we do find that are a little bit easy to surrender in, but then there's some areas that may be a little bit more challenging to surrender in, right? Being unsurrendered means that if I go with my own agenda and my own opinions, sometimes I'll miss why I was even sent. I'll miss the mission or the purpose of what I was supposed to be doing because I was only caught up in my own plan and my own idea, right? We said that God already told us to go in this season. This season is about going. So we're going to unpack a lot of that because sometimes we get prophecies or sometimes we get words of encouragement or sometimes we get things that reveals the path, but our actions are what really actually bring it to life, right? We know that we've been called maybe to the nations. You know that you've been called to be a millionaire. You know that, you've been called or asked to have a new car, new job, maybe get married, and maybe just do all these things, but it's always not gonna fall in your lap. As much as we would love it to, right? And us not to have to put any of the work, we really don't trust what was spoken over us if we don't put in the work because faith without works is dead. As much as we females, and I don't know, y'all gonna have to correct me on this one because I know some of us that may be single want to get married, and we always say he just gonna show up at the door. I don't, I'm gonna leave that one out because I'm gonna need that one just to happen because I ain't doing all the other stuff anymore. But the basic bottom line is that there is an action that we have to do to bring things to life. We can't just not do our part as well, right? There's a responsibility that we're required to also do. There's a part that we also have to play. Even in us being called to go and to do these things, we also want to be mindful that we don't let the plan steal the moment. What do I mean? Plans give directions, right? But if it costs us the present moment, it loses its purpose. We never want to get so caught up and so busy in the plan that we mismanage the moments right in front of us. Okay. That means we never want to chase the career, but I neglect my family. I never want to show up and pour into others that I end up finding myself super empty. I never want to be so caught up in doing that I miss what's right in front of me, if that makes sense. Because if I'm not good, y'all, I can't show up and I can't do what God is calling me to do. I can't go if I'm not also taking care of and being a good steward of just myself or my house or the things that God is calling me to in the season, right? If we look at it as in a spiritual point, we never want to get so caught up in chasing an accolade or chasing a title or chasing knowledge of God or chasing all these things or tools or these earthly accolades. And then we mismanage people. We don't ever learn or we never learn how to just be, how to love, right? We never learn how to operate in the fruit of the spirit. We never learn how to treat people right, treat people kindly, be honest. I'm not saying you're gonna be perfect. I'm not saying things are gonna happen, but what at what cost are we willing to sacrifice going? It makes no sense for us to go, go, go and do these things and we become the person like the crabs trying to chase things or trying to do things and we just crawling over other people. We almost wound people. The example that came to me earlier this week, and I'm just now remembering it, but we never want to be a person that we hurt and harm and wound other people to get something that we could have still got. And now we've left somebody else with wounds that they have to heal from. Ugh, like, that's not fair. It's not nice. It's not right. It doesn't take us hurting and almost mismanaging and treating someone else poorly just for us to get something. If God called us to it, there's a way that we can do it the right way. Because the way we respond, the way we act, it speaks, right? I love Second Corinthians because it's always so encouraging to read because I know that even on the other side of that, when it does happen, that when we go through these things, when we experience whatever it may be, these things are really strengthening our character and helping us learn how to depend on God. So there's really both ways you can look at the big picture if you take yourself out of the equation. However, I don't want to be the person that has to, God gonna use whoever he gonna use, right? So I know a lot of times we say it's the devil, but sometimes it be God. Because maybe sometimes God is trying to prune something out of the other person, and maybe God is sometimes trying to show you what's in you. But, when we choose to operate in the spirit, we should always choose to make sure that we don't mismanage people and moments and things whenever we're going through any season of our life, right? But surrender means that my ideas and my feelings and thoughts, no matter what I go through, no matter how I feel, I realize that I'm not the main character in my story, in the story. When I surrender, that means I have to surrender my ideas, my feelings, and my thoughts. I realize that I can't not always go based off of how I feel. We already know that our feelings are fickle, right? If we are leaning and depending on our feelings, we'll always be misled, we'll always be led astray. I have to realize that in my surrender, I am not the main character. And that has to be okay. That has to be enough. Even if the spotlight shifts, I have to make sure that I stay in the scene. Okay. Because it's really about, if we look at what God is calling us to, it's never about us, right? It's about other people. It's about other people. I had a situation recently and, I'm grateful that I have people in my life that I could talk to and that were able to listen to me. And just to be honest with, because I think it really matters, y'all. I think that's what I always say. Like, the discipleship piece is so critical. It's so needed in this season. I think a lot of times we grow up and we're figuring out things on our own when sometimes other people have wisdom that they've already experienced. And it's important for us to be discipling or be discipled at any place and age and stage of our life, especially on this Christian journey and walk, because one, it's a journey, and two, you don't know everything, and three, why not be teachable and learn something? Why not? Just why not? But I went through a situation recently. I was able to get another perspective that I never thought, or I never saw, or I never would have realized if I didn't just say, hey, honestly, I'm not okay with this. Honestly, I don't feel good about this situation. I'm really concerned. I had a lot of concerns actually. Um, I kind of felt like, without going into a lot of detail, I just felt like there were areas where I questioned, I guess, decisions, and I questioned motives, and I just questioned things that I was seeing. And I felt like I don't know how, like, I know what the word says. I know I want to do this, but like inside, I ain't know how to actually handle that. I really didn't know how to still truly be and not feel like I was faking it, right? But it's something I really had to surrender to God. It's something that I really had to pray about. It's something that I really had to start seeking God for on behalf of this person. And then they told me, hey, in this, maybe God is sending this person for a different reason. Maybe God wants you also to, in this, be a disciple. It was never really about you. It was for you to be able to disciple others that may experience something that they're going through because of the situation. That makes sense, y'all? I know I'm being very broad, but if we look at situations that happen to us and always think everything's happening to us, we'll miss that maybe it's happening for us or for somebody else. Maybe you had to get denied from the job, or maybe you had to get rejected in the situation so that you could still be around the people that God needs you to be around, and show them how your response is in rejection. Show them how your response is in denial. Do you begin to curse the people? Do you begin to act out? Do you begin to lash out? Or do you say, hey, not my will, Lord, but yours be done? Let me continue to be the light in this dark place. Let me continue to help someone else and pull them, because they'll start to say, man, what? It really should have been you. Or, hey, you know what? You should have got that job. Or, ooh, they did wrong. It was really you. No, it wasn't. Whatever's supposed to happen happened. And guess what? I'm happy and glad about it. Or, "Ooh, I know, I understand. I wanna go off on them too. I wanna tell you that, yes, I was right and they was wrong, or I wanna tell you this, but hey, no, we're gonna keep our heart pure. This is how we get through situations like this. This is where how we learn to depend on God. This is how you learn to not let people get you out of position no matter how they respond. This is where you begin to grow." So now I had an experience that I was able to help somebody else grow in. That's really what it's all about. And when we begin to start looking at it that way, and not look for a spotlight or not look for attention, be who we are supposed to be, even behind closed doors, that's where God gets the glory. That's where God is honored. If he's the same God when you're in the spotlight, he should be the same God when you're not in the spotlight. Just because the spotlight is not on you, don't get out of the scene. Don't get out of position. Be integral enough to be who you're going to be in every season, everywhere, in all things. Because when God told you to go, you don't get to choose how you go. You don't get to choose what you go through. You don't get to choose what's going to come your way. If God said go, keep going no matter what comes in the way. We kind of talked about that a little bit last time. No matter what comes, continue to press forward. And then the other thing I had to realize too is everyone is really living their own full story, and no one is a supporting role in yours. Ouch. Okay? And I don't think I ever really operated where I'm thinking that people are supporting roles in my story and I'm the main character. Like, that's, if you know me, that's not how I operate. But if we begin to just look at people as they're operating in their own story and they're going through their own journey and they're experiencing what they need to do for their story, then I think we can begin to understand that maybe God is working out their story and maybe God, what is my purpose in their season and in their story right now? God, what do you want me to do or how do you want me to show up for them in this season right now? I don't wanna take it personal. I don't wanna take every attack and hit personal. Now, I don't wanna be the person that has to be attacking everybody because that's not what we wanna do. But Lord, what do you want me to see in this situation? Because Imma see some stuff. If God told me to go and be a light and be an example, that's not gonna come without sacrifice. That's not gonna come without surrender. That's not gonna come without my feelings being hurt. That's not gonna come without my character being attacked. That's not gonna come without me being inconvenienced. That's not gonna come without me having to go through seasons where maybe I do need to step away and see what God is trying to show me. It's gonna come with a lot of things. But God, what's my purpose in this story to go? How do you want me to go and operate? How can I surrender my personal will and desires and feelings and thoughts and ideas to be able to do what you're asking me to do in this season? Sometimes we can focus on how things affect us that we missed how they impact other people. God called you to be a light in darkness. We got to remember the impact that we have and who we are representing, even when it comes at the expense of us. I was telling somebody recently too, like, we have to get to a place where we don't let our purpose and identity be attached to the success or the failure of somebody else's. That's one way to separate it. But God, what is the impact that you want me to make? And if I'm being truthful and I'm being integral and I'm doing what I feel like you're asking me to do in this season, I know that has to be enough. And everything else, I got to let it be. It's out of my control. Because I said, I trust you. I said, I'm going to go. Even if I get attacked, I said, I'm going to go. Right? Um, so yeah, that blessed me. That blessed me a lot. And it takes maturity, y'all. It takes a place of us getting to a mature space to be able to live and operate like this. I promise you it's coming. I promise you it's coming, but it takes us to be mature. And it's understanding that it's not that your story doesn't matter. It's not that your story isn't personable. It's not that your story isn't important, but it's just that you ain't the only story being written. We said God's still writing our story. We say this and we believe it, but do we believe it for other people too? We sing the song, but do we trust that God's writing somebody else's story? Do we trust that other things are being worked out for someone else? It's a hard pill to swallow. I promise you. I ain't telling you based off of what I heard. I'm telling you based off what I know. It's a hard pill to swallow because you genuinely expect people to act a certain way, but that's our fault because we had an expectation on somebody that's not a reality. It's hard. It's hard to do that. But maturity says that, hey, being a part of something, being a part of God's plan, being in God's will is more important than me being the star. Is more important than me getting the glory. Is more important than me being right. Is more important than myself and my will and what I desire and how I feel. God, I just want to be in your will. And if that means this is what I got to go through sometimes, Lord, I surrender my plan and my ideas. And how can I still be a witness even in the hard times? We say we trust God in all things, but that means the hard things too. That means when my finances ain't acting right. That means when the bills look funny. That means when the things and the storms come, the people come, when I don't get what I think I deserve, when I don't feel right. If God's working all things together, I got to praise him and bless him in the hard times too, just as much in the good. Because guess what? The pressure ain't on me. Something my pastor says is like, I ain't got nothing to prove. It's God's. So let me take the pressure off of myself. Let me be obedient and integral because I still have a responsibility to obey. I still have an action, or a work that I have to do. So let me make sure that one, I'm obedient and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. But baby, God is responsible for the results. He responsible for the outcome. He responsible for everything else. Okay? Because our life, if it is to give God's glory, it can't be our own. And we have to let that go. We have to let that go if we're gonna go. Okay? So I want to just encourage you guys that in life, in situations, as you begin to go, as we begin to really trust God, I want us to really truly learn how to surrender it all. And if that means stepping away sometimes, let's make sure we step away so that we're never pouring from an empty place. Sometimes we can get so busy and caught up in pouring and doing, like I said earlier, that we realize that we're pouring from residue. We don't have anything left to give. I've been doing the work, I've been showing up, but Lord, wait a minute, I'm missing the most important thing, which is you. And I never want to I've been in the place though. I have been there. I never want to live in that place. And that's where the problem comes. Because then we start getting a little irritable. Then we start seeing things foggy. Then we start seeing ourselves as the only person in the story. Then we lose the empathy for others. We lose the God, what is the purpose that you have for me? God, what do you want me to do in this season? God, what do you want me to even do? Right? So when we start to notice that, that's the perfect spot and time to say, you know what? Let me step back, Lord. I gotta surrender. Because the Bible does say, take up your cross and die daily. Not just on a weekly, not just on Sundays, not just on Wednesdays. I can't go and be effective if I'm alive. I cannot go and be effective if my flesh is still alive. I cannot go and be effective if I'm not dead. I can't. I have to be surrendered to go. I can't worry about it's going to cost me something. We already know that. We talked about the cost last season. So in this season, I'm encouraging us all to just really take responsibility and be spiritual aware and mature so that we can go and be effective. So we can go and not miss moments. So we can go and not miss God. I don't want us to do that. I never want us to get caught up in going that we miss God and miss moments to be effective. Okay? So that is all I have for you guys today. I really, really, really pray that this message encourage you all. I pray that you all will find peace in the midst of whatever it is that you're going through. And I pray that you will begin to lean on God totally and completely and surrender it all. Surrender it all. And don't hold yourself to a high standard or hold yourself to this. I have to get it right. You're human. You're going to get it wrong sometimes. Be okay with that. Let's make the adjustment and do a hard reset when we need to do it. Okay. So if this message encouraged you, if it blessed you, please share it, like it, comment, give it to a friend, send it to a friend, whatever you guys need to do to share this message. I really, really, really pray that it encouraged you and blessed you as well. And remember that no matter what season you are in your life, keep picking up the phone. All right. Until next time, keep your connection on and keep your faith strong. Bye, guys. See you next time.